Have you noticed this pattern too? How the people who are really about to drop something meaningful, be it an album, a book, a startup, or a life-changing decision, they all go silent, as if they're disappearing a little, vanishing off of the face of the earth, pull back into their own little world. I think it's not always intentional, but it's always real. I've always found it fascinating. Before something monumental shows up on the outside, there's a deep retreat on the inside. Like, I remember noticing this even as a teenager, authors going dark on social media before a new release, and YouTubers going quiet before a rebrand or a music video, friends suddenly going off the grid before announcing an engagement or a major life decision. And it's not just the influencers or the artists, it's also us, people like you and me. Before we make a real change, there's this instinct to withdraw, to declutter our space, our energy, our thoughts. And I strongly believe that big moves are made in silence, although not out of secrecy, but out of the sacredness of solitude. A while ago, I read Solitude in Pursuit of a Crowded World, a book by Michael Harris. And honestly, it changed how I look at being alone. It made me realize we treat solitude like a punishment, like it's a sign that no one wants us. But in reality, solitude is a gift, if you know how to unwrap it and go about it. Solitude, Harris says, is not the absence of company, but the presence of self. And that line hit me hard, because for the longest time I thought being alone meant I was missing out on something that I should be talking, posting, attending, replying. But solitude is not about absence, it's about presence. Presence with yourself, with your surroundings, within yourself, within your surroundings. But let's be honest, solitude is scary. When everything's quiet, your thoughts get louder, and not all of them are kind. You start questioning things. You start realizing what you've been ignoring. And that's where most people bounce. They open Instagram, scroll, doom scroll, play a podcast, call someone, binge watch shows, distract themselves. But here's the truth. I've learned the hard way. If you can't sit with your own silence, you'll never know what your soul actually sounds like, actually looks like, actually feels like. You wouldn't know yourself. You have to be in your alone corner, the space you mentally retreat to, where the world doesn't exist for a while. For me, it's a desk by the window with a cup of chai, a notebook, and no notifications. For you, it might be a walk, a prayer mat, a quiet room. But that alone corner is where the real work begins. Another thing I worked from Harris's book and from observing my own rhythms is how boredom isn't the enemy, it's the invitation. When we're bored, we think our brains are off, but actually they're on in the most creative way possible. They're connecting dots, forming ideas, solving inner puzzles. All of the things that we wouldn't have time, or rather space, to do in our daily lives. We're so overstimulated that we've forgotten how to be bored, and that's dangerous because boredom is where the breakthrough begins. It's like tilling the soil before a plant grows. You can't harvest ideas if you never sit long enough to let them bloom. So if you're in a season where you feel like you're pulling back, going quiet, not showing up the way you used to, maybe that's not regression. Maybe that's incubation. Not all silence is emptiness. Some of it is just the sound of something beautiful growing. Think of the caterpillar. It doesn't glow up mid-party. It literally cocoons in stillness, darkness, isolation, before emerging as something completely new. This silence or still place you seclude yourself to might be the birthplace of your next big thing. Let people think you're gone. Let the timeline forget you for a bit. When you come back, you'll have something that actually matters to show. So this is your reminder. From one chai-sipping, thought-hoarding, solitude-loving human to another. It's okay to step back. It's okay to go quiet. The world can wait. Your peace, your clarity, your voice, that's what matters the most. So seclude yourself into the corner of your own. You're not lost, but you're building something quietly powerful.